Psalm 37:4 says, "Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart." That's actually Psalm 36:4, using the Septuagint numbering system, which Augustine uses. So if you look up Augustine's expositions on the Psalms at newadvent.org, where there's a good translation, public domain, and not a complete translation, unfortunately, they follow the modern numbering system. So that's the numbering system based on the Hebrew Masoretic text. So at newadvent.org, if you're looking for Augustine's expositions on the Psalms where he comments on this verse, "Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart," you want to follow the modern numbering system and look for his exposition on Psalm 37. But if you're reading the newer translations by New City Press, they will use the Septuagint numbering system like Augustine does, so there you'll want the exposition on Psalm 36. Anyway, in Augustine's expositions, or in narrationes on the Psalms, we find 3 sermons on Psalm 37 or 36. In these sermons, Augustine responds to a version of the problem of evil. Why do good things happen to bad people? And why do bad things happen to good people? And why does God let it all happen? Augustine is not asking, though, a speculative philosophical question. He's dealing with a practical problem and a pastoral problem. A religious believer, a Christian, will wonder sometimes why evil people seem happy. That's what the psalm is dealing with. And Augustine's answer focuses on desire and on its proper object. There are things we should not be desiring that we are desiring. There are things we should be desiring that we are not desiring. We are not supposed to worry about evil people seeming to experience earthly happiness. When we do, that just shows that we have wrong priorities. To some extent, we have the same wrong priorities they do. We should not love temporary worldly pleasures. We should love God above all and be satisfied with God and with God's gifts, and not worry about why the wicked seem to prosper. Also, evil people are actually not all that happy. They have bad desires, and you cannot be happy with bad desires. Now let me read just one paragraph from my book on Augustine's expositions on the Psalms, where I consider these 3 sermons on Psalm 37 or 36 in the Septuagint numbering. And I'm looking at the Maria Bolding translation, the New City Press translation. And if I quote Augustine, that's the translation I'm using. And now reading from that passage in my book, "We fret about the wicked because we, like they, worry over worldly goods. Instead, we should, quote, hope in the Lord, as the psalm says, end quote, and also, quote, do good and live in the land," end quote, also from the psalm. The land stands for the church. The call to do good there is the usual Augustinian ethic of the love of God and neighbor. Augustine explains that love does no good outside the church. This is a jab at the Donatist schism. Those who work the land, that is to say, those who love God and neighbor in the church, may hope to receive their wages from the farmer. Now, this is using hired laborers working for a farmer as analogy for, Christians working for God. Working the farm is loving God and neighbor in the church, and wages from the farmer. What wages would you expect to receive from God in return for love of God and neighbor? The work is love, the land is the church, the farmer is God, and to enjoy God is our wages. Augustine cites a key biblical command on desire. Quote, "And see what comes next," says Augustine, "delight in the Lord." That's delectare in Domino, delight in the Lord. "It is as though you had inquired, saying, show me the riches of that land where you command me to dwell. And he replies, delight in the Lord, delectare in Domino, and he will give you your heart's desire. Et dabit tibi petitiones cordis tui. Delight in the Lord, and he will give you your heart's desire." End quote. The Bible is commanding us to find happiness in loving God. Thus says Augustine in his sermons on these Psalms.